Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Real Talk with Ben podcast. And today, I'm so excited you joined me. Whether you are at work, whether you're at home, whether you're just chilling around, I don't know, lounging in your chair, maybe watch some TV or playing with your kids, whatever you're doing, I'm so happy that you decided to join me for another great episode. And I actually sound better this week. Fun fact. If you remember last week's episodes with Jordan, I sound really stuffed up. I sort of am a little stuffed up, but I feel better. So, that's always good because, it's always good to feel good. So excited to be back almost fully 100%. But this week, I have a couple really good episodes planned. This episode, which is obviously Tuesday. So happy Tuesday. Today's episode is going to be a lot about friendship. Now, you might be wondering, and if you pay attention to my personal Instagram, I posted a story yesterday, posted on my story yesterday about me traveling back from Athens, Ohio. I visited two really dear friends of mine and love them dearly, Ryan and Jocelyn, and I'll get more into this, as the episode goes on. But I really took some time to reflect on the way back, and I thought I would love to share it with you all, and to share what God's really taught me through it, as well as just maybe some things that maybe you haven't thought of in that case as well. And then Thursday's episode, so I'll give you a little heads up, so a little preview. So you can kind of think about what you might be doing on Thursday or after Thursday or whatever. But that episode is going to be about bullying, my story, how it's affected me. So stay tuned for that. I don't I don't share it to boast or anything. It's just my story and how God helped me through it. So I really want to share that with you guys and hopefully help maybe some people that might be needing that help to go through it as well. But that's on Thursday. Today is Tuesday, so we're going to get into it. First off, I again want to just say thank you so much for listening. Whether you're listening on Spotify, whether you're listening on Apple Podcasts, or whether you're watching on YouTube. Yes, I post them on YouTube. The Bowden Experience. If you're not watching on YouTube and you would like to see them, my dad loves that. He likes being able to watch and listen at the same time. So whether you're watching or listening, I really appreciate the support that the podcast has gotten already, and hopefully you guys will keep listening in the future. And if you're new, welcome. My name's Ben. So get all the pleasantries aside, and now into the good stuff. So, like I said, I was driving home yesterday. Just riding along in my element. Elliot the Element. Yes, I named my car because it's cool. And it's not a girl's name because I think that's weird. I don't know why. People think I'm weird for thinking that's weird, but I like it. Let me know what you think. But Elliot the Element, it kind of goes together. Anyways, was driving home yesterday, about a 2-hour drive home, and was sitting and reflecting on the time that I got to spend with two really dear friends. And this whole episode, and I guess this story kind of ties into a couple episodes ago when I was talking about, what's it like leaving, what's it like being a graduate, and that stuff from Cedarville. And I guess it's going to be kind of in like two different parts, I guess. And the first part is I just wanted to, share with you guys just the experience I had this weekend. I mean, so I as you know, I'm going to Hungary as a missionary, and my goal has been to get together with a lot of my really close friends, some of my best friends from Cedarville, from home, and just be able to see most of them if I can. I would like to see all of them, but we all know it's harder sometimes than sometimes we would like to admit. But so I was able to see quite a bit of my friends already, and texted my friend Ryan, who is married to another good friend of mine, Jocelyn. They got married back in July. If you go to my YouTube page, you can see that little recap of my trip out there. That was really fun. That could be a whole nother episode, but super fun trip. And yeah, and so I texted them, said, hey, could I come down? things got switched around. We finally found a date, and it so happened to be that this weekend was going to be the time I was going to be able to come down, and I was super excited, but I was also super nervous because my school there was a lot of sickness going around. I got really under the weather, obviously. You could tell, and I actually got worse throughout the week, to the point when Thursday came, I was really not feeling well. And I was like, I didn't know if I'd be able to make it, but just slept, took a lot of medicine, and then felt better on Saturday and decided to head out. Also, that's also another note. If you hear me step away from the mic and cough, it's not on you guys. I don't want to blow your eardrums out, but might be a little cough here and there. But anyways, and here comes one. Never mind. Excuse me. Went Saturday, left Saturday, and what was really cool about this trip is Ryan's going to grad school down in Ohio University, and I have two cousins as well that go to Ohio University, and it was super awesome because it just so happened that I was going to go to Ryan and Jocelyn's later in the afternoon, and so I was able to actually meet up with my cousins who I don't see regularly. I see quite a bit when we have family stuff, but not like every month, like I would my mom's family. This is on my dad's side. So getting to see them was really cool. We went to a cool restaurant. Got to see where they live and went to a cool coffee shop. And as you know, to get me in a coffee shop, it's kind of crazy because I don't like coffee, but, so I was able to do that. And that was just another perk of this trip. And, so I remember pulling in, went to Ryan and Jocelyn's, and, just was embraced by love. And I'll get to the story about Ryan here in a second, but, I was welcomed with open arms, by two of the, most amazing individuals. I love them dearly, and so I guess I fast forward, but Ryan took me around to visit Athens. Jocelyn was fixing dinner, which she did an amazing job, spaghetti and meatballs. Jocelyn, Ryan, if you're listening, thank you. Oh, spaghetti was amazing. Meatballs were amazing. Everything was also awesome through the whole time. But I guess I wanted to talk about Ryan in particular, Jocelyn as well. But as this trip was going well, it went well, went amazing. You even know God is blessing it when you literally are going to go shoot hoops, and for a guest to go at the gym, it's like $8. Literally show up, and the guy was like, "Hey man, head on in." And basically just told me not to pay, and it was awesome. We got to shoot for an hour, something that Ryan and I both love is basketball. And we were able to do that and just have a little bonding time that we haven't had very regularly. And I guess that's another point is that the last time I saw them was at their wedding. So, it's been 7 months, since I've seen them. So this was a really emotional time and a really rewarding time, for me. And what was really cool about this whole thing was, it all starts freshman year. Ryan and I worked together on basketball my freshman year, and I remember actually, funny story. I did not like Ryan. So I was doing my job that coach wanted me to do. Coach told me to go get the breakfast for the team. I went to get the breakfast, and I see this guy come up, and Ryan was like, "Hey, I'm here to help." And I was like, "Oh, no, you're not." And I remember just being, I was really just a jerk to him because I was just like, I don't want this guy taking my job. And I guess that kind of points out to how insecure I was, I guess, back then, and really where I've been since then and how I've grown. And so, and it was funny how that's how we started. And I always joke about that with him, of how we started our relationship. And how it's become such a great friendship. And so Ryan and I, kind of, I think slowly got to know each other, and then soon just hit it off, and, been great friends ever since. And he's not the only one, by the way. There's so many other friends, and I'll get to them in a bit, but, I just remember Ryan's heart and Ryan's caring, heart for people and his heart for the gospel. And for me, that is something that is truly amazing. It really is. It's kind of cool to look at now, even now, how he's kind of the same, of just that caringness, that wholeheartedness that he brings to life. And it's truly cool. And, and what was awesome was, and as you know from my testimony, I went through a really tough time in freshman, sophomore year, and even into junior year. But through that time, I lost a lot of friends. A lot of people stopped caring for me. They just kind of went off and did their own thing. And I can't hold that against them. I totally understand that. But Ryan, and then two of my other friends, Trey and Jesse, those three, and specifically Ryan and Jesse a lot, Trey as well, because I worked with Trey. But Ryan, I remember multiple times just being that light that I needed to see. When I was walking down a dark path, I at the time didn't see what he was doing, but now looking back, I could see that he was trying to get me to realize the mistakes that I had made, and in a way being stupid in the way I was acting, and just not being the man I should be, and living my faith. And so Ryan has always been there for me. And Jesse has always been there for me. And you'll hear me talk a lot about him as well. And Trey, from the moment I went on to Cedarville to the moment I left, they were always there. And even now they are. And I share that because this is what the points that I want to get to here in a second. And it goes the same with Jocelyn. Jocelyn always brings a smile to your face. I mean, every time I've seen Jocelyn, she's always smiling. She always gives you a hug, and she just loves life, loves Christ. And Ryan and Jocelyn love each other more than anything except God. They love God the most, and their love for each other is absolutely tremendous. And being able to see that in action over the day and a half, or day really, I was there, was so cool. And it put a fire in me to say, this is what I want in a relationship. This is what I want in a marriage in the future. And so I guess I was humbled during this time, and it was also a blessing. Leaving the country, it's hard in a way, because you want to be excited, which I am, and you want to be ready for anything, which I am, but you're also missing the pieces that brought you here. And this is where I want to kind of get into the part two of this podcast. This is where this is part two, and it's this: relish in the friendships God has given you. Whether that was from college, whether that's from your childhood, whether that's from your high school years or your work. Relish in them. Because over the last 2 months, I've been able to eat with friends. I've been able to have dinner. I've been able to hang out with friends that I won't see for at least a year. And I told myself I wouldn't get emotional about this, but for me, it's hard, because when you get to look back and you see where you were, and because of these friends, you see where you are now. And for me, that's what's so cool, is I look at freshman Ben at Cedarville, and I see a guy that was lost, a guy that was just trying to figure out what it meant to be a Christian. In a sense, I really didn't even know what that was. I just was trying to be this cool guy that was accepted by everyone. And yet you had these three guys from maybe not day one I was there, but from very early on say, and I don't even know if they chose it at that moment, but they saw something or they felt something. They said, I want to stick with this guy. Maybe he needed help. Maybe he's kind of crazy. I might try to tone him down. I don't know what it was. I've never asked. But what I think it's so cool is that through those times, I can able to look back and see how they have helped me get through where I am today. And so I say relish in the friendships you have been blessed with by God, because I think too many times in this day and age and in this world we live in, we just take relationships and friendships for granted, and we take them as just a part of life. And that's what really, really stinks in my head, because if all we're doing is just doing it because it's a part of life, then what's the point of having long-term relationships, long-term friendships? If we're supposed to be this self-sufficient person, we don't need any of that help. We don't need people to pick us up. We don't need that help. Then what are we worrying about? But I think that's what's so cool, is that even though this world has fallen and sin has corrupted this world, God has given us the ability to have relationships and friendships with people to bring us closer to Him. I think what's so cool is that I remember a professor once saying that the more relationships we can have and the more friendships that we can have that bring us closer to God is one more way that we can say, God, you're a part of my life. And I think that's so true, because I think I'm realizing that more and more as I've left Cedarville. I've been out of Cedarville for nearly a year now, 8 months, 9 months. I've been out of Cedarville. And do I miss it? Yes. Do I miss parts of it? Yes. But like I said in previous episodes, I've said the hardest thing for me is losing those relationships, is not being able to have those guys that I can talk to every single day. And I was reminded of this weekend. See, Ryan and Jocelyn didn't have to have me come. They could have said, hey, we're busy, we can't do this. But they opened their doors, they opened their arms, and once again showed me the hospitality, the caringness, not only of them, but of what God blesses you with. And if you use that to continue moving towards Him, He's going to continue to bless that friendship and those relationships. To Ryan and to Jocelyn, I'm so grateful that they have been my friends for so long. It's very easy in this day and age, like I said, to not worry about friendships, to not worry about relationships, and just to go on with life and to not worry about building those up. And I can tell you this, that since being home and since being away from Cedarville, I worked at Cedarville, but that was a little different. But let's just say since August, being home away from those friendships, away from friendships that I could build into and they can build into me, is really hard. And it takes a toll on you mentally, emotionally. You don't have that person to nudge you and say, hey, where are you going? What are you doing? And you miss that. You miss the opportunity to have that feeling of joy and comfort, knowing there is someone there for you. And there's someone there helping you get through life when life gets hard and life gets tough. And I think why this was so heavy on my heart, and I think the reason why I wanted to share it, is because I see so many people that when they graduate college, you see them kind of fall away, or they kind of they stop caring about the certain things of life. They stop caring about what they really were passionate about in college. And I think sometimes that happens when we don't have those people to kind of keep encouraging us and keeping us accountable. And yes, I have a mentor and he's amazing, but mentors do what they do. They mentor you. Friends can also mentor you, but they also help push you along closer to Christ. And I guess I want to share a story about Ryan that really, really is awesome. And it's really cool. I remember it was the end of it was in a senior year. Yep, this was last year. The end of the year, we were getting ready to graduate, and I remember seeing him. It was probably a couple of weeks before we were graduating, and I don't even know if he remembers the story, but it's super cool because I remember sitting down We were just talking about what's next. And I was telling him about Hungary, and I was excited for this Hungary trip coming up and everything. And I'll never forget his words. He said, keep being the man you've become. Don't step back and look at the man you were. And it's interesting because he wasn't saying don't look back and learn from who I was, but definitely through that conversation, I could see him saying, hey, don't look at that person you were. Don't think about being that person you were. Look at who you are now. And I'm thankful for those words that Ryan said to me. And maybe he won't remember those words or remember what he had said to me. But those words stuck out to me because it was something that was encouragement to me, saying, Ben, you've come so far. You've come from that freshman that didn't care, that freshman that was lost, that was confused, to a senior that was about to go out in life and conquer life knowing that I'm living for Christ. So I hope what you get this, and to be honest, I didn't know really where I was going with this today. Actually, I don't even have paper in front of me. Usually I have notes in front of me, and I legit have nothing because I want it to be from the heart. I wanted it to be something that you all could relate to. I hope that you all have friends that have poured into you. Or I at least hope you had friends in the past that maybe you haven't connected with lately. If you remember last week when Jordan was talking about how I've always tried to stay connected with him and how that meant so much to him. And that's what Ryan always checking on me, and Trey always checking on me, and Jesse always checking on me, and Jocelyn always checking on me, and those friends, and Jordan, and those friends that have always checked on me. That means more to me than just someone to go hang out with. So if you're sitting here today and you're listening and you're saying, Ben, I've been that friend that doesn't really want to push them very far, or is too worried that they'll reject me, or I'm too worried that they'll judge me for trying to challenge them to be a better Christian or to be a better person. Well, let me say this to you. Let me say this to you. If they are not willing to hear those things from you, then right now they need to worry about trying to figure out where their life is with Christ. And right now it's time for you to take a step back. That doesn't mean you quit loving them. That doesn't mean you run away from them, but you take a step back, you pray for them, and then you go back forward again. Or maybe you're on the other side and you're the person that has that friend that has always been there for you through the tough and the good, and yet you're still running away from maybe Christ, or you're maybe still pushing them away and saying, I don't want to hear what you have to say. I don't want to hear what the Word of God has to say. I don't want to hear what your advice might be. Then I pray that you consider what you might be thinking. Think about where you need to be with Christ. Because friends, it doesn't matter what I say on this podcast. It doesn't matter what your friend tells you in all reality. What it matters is where your life is with Christ. What matters is where your life is with Christ, and how are you living out your life? Every episode of this podcast, I've talked about how we need to live for Christ, no matter what our hobby is, no matter what our job is, no matter where we're going to school. I was in a place this weekend that is one of the most secular universities probably in the U.S. It has a very high partying rate, yet Ryan and Jocelyn go to a church that's right dab smack in the middle of all these bars and all these party areas. Their mission is hey, we're going to live in this world, but we're not going to live of this world. So my challenge is where are your friends? Are your friends, are they friends that are helping you live in this world but not be of it? Or are they your friends that are helping you be a part of this world? What I learned this weekend and driving back from Athens, what I learned was this, is that no matter how far I go, no matter how far I travel, no matter where I live in this world, I know I have really, really God-centered friends that are willing to challenge me, convict me of things, and bring me closer to Christ. And that is what it's all about. So as you sit back and as you go through life and as you're reading the scriptures and as you're trying to be a better Christian, as you're trying to be a better son or daughter of Christ, I pray that you ask God, say, bring friends, bring people into my life that will challenge me to be a better representation of you. And sometimes that's hard. It's hard to sometimes find those people that are going to do that for you. I'm not going to sit here and tell you it's easy. I never thought that, to be honest, after freshman year, after I was losing those friends, I never thought I would still have these friends hanging around 3 years later, 4 years later. But yet here they are, challenging me, encouraging me, supporting me. There's nothing better than going to a friend's house, staying there, sitting around a dinner together, praying together and fellowshipping in the name of Jesus and sharing what God is doing. Guys, there's nothing greater than that. Living for Christ and having people around you that live for Christ is one of the most amazing feelings you'll ever have. And so as I wrap up today, as I wrap up this episode, I just want to ask you one thing. Who are your friends and where are they pointing you to? Are they pointing you to be of this world? Or are they walking along with you to be in this world, but sharing the gospel and living for Christ? That is what we really need to find out. Well, I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope you got encouragement. I hope you just were challenged maybe a little bit today as well. And so as you go on with your day, as you think about this, I pray that God will really reveal this to you. And so if you could, go ahead and give this a couple stars on any of the podcast areas, and then as well as favorite it, like the video if you're on YouTube, and subscribe if you get the chance to see more episodes of my podcast, and as well as my brothers and I's, the Bros Know. So once again, thank you so much for being a part of, let's just say, a fun episode. And thank you for being a part of my ministry. And I'm glad I'm able to share it with you. And so, as always, we'll talk next time.